I am right back with another video. It's 3:10 p.m. and it is Tuesday, February 26th. I just did a video earlier and I'm just kind of winding down after I had to express what was going on in my head. You know, you can't put somebody in like solitude and expect them to not need to express, you know, their feelings, their emotions. It's a lot to keep inside of a person. It really is, you know. So I try to handle things in the most constructive way I possibly can, you know. So, you know, I was thinking, you know, I worry a lot because, you know, I already explained my situation, but, you know, I was just informed that, you know, I guess they found my boss, so I'm not going to sit here and that's one less thing I don't have to think about right away, you know. But I will say that, you know, my life, regardless, is usually a constant state of worry. And, you know, I've been through a lot. So one of the reasons why, you know, I'm very direct. If I'm put in a situation where I fear that any misunderstandings are going to take place, I get very direct, okay? And the reason why I do this is because, you know, in my past experience dealing with people having regular interactions, I don't like people who beat around the bush, who speak in a very roundabout manner, because generally they're either trying to hide something, they don't want to be upfront, or, you know, and that's just only all that does is cause confusion and misunderstandings. Period. So I'm the kind of person, and, you know, that I'm going to be very direct about it. I'm not going to, you know, make it nice and sugarcoat it. I'm going to come right out and say it. And if it's in a situation similar to this, I will be so blunt to the point where it will feel like I'm smacking you upside the head. Okay? Because in situations like this, I'm going to be very, very upfront, you know, and I'm not going to withhold anything. Okay? But that's not my typical attitude. It's only under situations where I feel as though it's appropriate. Because I hate ambiguity. I do. I hate it so much because, you know, that all that does is leave room for deception and everything else, you know. I'm upfront about it. And also, these people deserve to be smacked upside the head, and even more than that, okay? So anyway, I believe in being upfront. So as long as people are being cool with me, then they don't have to worry about being, you know, bitch slapped verbally. So anyway, yeah, I was dealing with a lot, and I'm still dealing with a lot. So it's like, it's always constant, you know, it's always constant, you know, and I think about the abuse that my family has been doing to me so many years, and it starts to get to you. And their hatred and their foolishness is something that basically infected people. So there's people who are set on this earth, you know, because they're in a scapegoating situation or abusive situation, who from the time that they come into this earth are marked for some sort of, what I guess a toil, I call it toiling, you know, meaning they are struggling more than they have to just because their family's foundation is so fucked up. Okay? And so I'm one of those people, you know. It's like boundaries, okay? And oftentimes, you know, there's the abusive parent issue, and there's also the fact that people don't guide and direct their kids properly, okay? If I had, let's just say I had more than one kid, okay? And I saw that this was going on. Now, sometimes it's the fault of the parent, and then sometimes they can see that the child is out of control and takes too much of a dominant attitude towards the other kid, okay? They don't discipline their kids to act correctly, and that each person in that family has a certain place, and they're equals they're just equal. There's no hierarchy in the family, but some families are warped like that. They're dysfunctional, okay? And my family's one of those dysfunctional people. You know, that's not to say that I'm perfect or I'm better than them. I'm just saying is there's certain behavior traits that I will not, or that I can recognize as either being primitive, foolish, just, you know, you're way out of you're out of line, you know, just whatever. It's inappropriate to behave that way. Okay. So anyway, I would have been better off had I not been born in that family. But in some ways, there were some advantages to being born in that family. So, you know, but I will say, you know, when I think about the abuse and how far behind in life I am because of it, And I'm not the kind of person that likes to point the finger. I believe in taking personal responsibility for things that I've done. I do. And I have thought many years about the things over to certain things that I did many years ago when I was young, naive, or foolish, or just whatever. And I think, my goodness, that was a mistake, and I will not do that again. So you learn. It's a learning process. As an adult, some of the things I did when I was in my early 20s, it's like, are you kidding me? That's obviously the result of somebody being naive, newbie in the world. I'm experimenting. I'm doing whatever. You do things. That's a part of your learning process. You know what I mean? But I'm just completely blown away at, how a family could be abusive in a neighborhood, in a school system, in a work area, on Facebook, and now it's worldwide. Their bullying and their attitude is just something that snowballed out of just everything that is so unpleasant in this world, So anyway, I'm just thinking about, sometimes I get in talkative moods, but lately I've just been so wanting, to be in my own thoughts. Because sometimes these moods hit me and I'm just like, I'll start off on a good day and then all of a sudden some bullshit will happen where I'm going to have to sit here and worry about shit, or it's making me think about some of their bullshit, or just the idea that they thought they had the right to do this in the first place. I'm going to flip back into my bitchy, get the fuck away from me, I don't want to talk to you moods. You know what I mean? And, it's hard. It's very hard, But I do. I'm very direct when I'm talking about things that relate directly to my protection, my life, my rights, my ability to take care of myself, blah, 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 blah. I am all I have in this world. Now, yeah, people say, well, you don't have a son and everything. I do have a son, okay? Number one, I don't believe in parents being burdens to their children. I really don't, okay? I do appreciate the help that my son has given me. I do, okay? But I'm not one of those people who like to rely on their kids. I'm not one of those people. I do not like it, okay? And I have my own reasons for it. And anybody who has any self-respect would too. They would do the same thing, okay? So, it's just the fact that, all my life, seriously though, when I had my son, I kept thinking, I'm going to get my shit together. And I knew that I could have taken care of my son in a better fashion than I did. Meaning I would have had to lose jobs, start another job, so these people could come in and roll over my shit. I seriously wanted to be able to provide all the things that every parent provides for their kid. That is the truth. And you know what? I had the ability to do it. I could have done that. I could have been able to been a better provider, had long-term employment, had it not been for these people. I dealt with more stress as a parent than anybody could ever imagine. Imagine being all by yourself in a community, and you're all by yourself, and there's somebody's wanting to fuck with your job, and they don't give a fuck if you end up out on the street with you and your kid. They don't give a flying fuck. And the worst part is, the person who doesn't give a flying fuck the most is your fucking blood relations. They don't give a fuck about you. That's just like, my God. How much stress. Of course, I didn't know back then they were manipulating that stuff. But now that I understand it, it's like, wow. The realization is really deep. Okay, we've already talked about that. And plus all the other realizations too, like, the fact that these people that you thought were cool are just really weird. And, wow, it's so eye-opening. It's more eye-opening than, it's funny though. I mean, I'm going to take my drama and just kind of minimize it just for just a minute, okay? Only reason why I'm minimizing it for my sake is because I'm not the kind of person that feels like my experience needs to be written about. Although there's a lot of people who do, okay? I know women who've had problems with boyfriends or whatever, who've been betrayed or whatever, and they want, I should write this into a storybook, okay? It's just about every life is fucked up in some way, okay? But I will say that my family really ran over me. They ran over me like, and they probably don't even realize it. And, I also get, because I'm psychic and stuff, and I also understand that this narcissistic behavior is so embedded into their mind that oftentimes they get pissed off. People like my sister, and I'm sure people like Karen Johnson and everything else, when I talk about these things, I get the feeling that they're upset. Like, how dare you just come right out and say this, 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 and this? How dare you talk about this? How dare you expose this? They are getting very angry with me for speaking the truth because I'm suffering. And there was a Facebook post that somebody had put on, well, they obviously put on Facebook, but they had posted it. I don't know what you call these memes, whatever, I guess. Maybe that would categorize it. I don't know. But anyway, it was like this saying about how people are holding grudges against things that they've done to you. And I said, you're absolutely right. When you are in one of these situations, it's a vicious cycle because they do something to inconvenience you terribly, okay? And then you're upset because you're being abused and you're terrified, you're scared, you're talking about it, right? Because there's no one else to talk to you about it, right? And then you talk about your feelings, and until they get pissed off, they want to unsubscribe to you. They want to fuck you over somehow. And just like the CPA, when I called or contacted him, he basically turned around the issue on me when his ass was doing everything illegal, and then pointing the finger at me, telling me that I should, whatever. I forgot the whole message. I mean, if I referenced that particular video that I made the day that he did that stupid shit, then I would know, word from word. But the point is that they always want to continually project their wrongdoing on you. This is a part of the scapegoat mentality that my family decided to take from the household and spread in the neighborhood, in the school systems, at my workplace, and all over the goddamn world on Facebook. Yeah, that's them. So anyway, that's how out of control, okay, family relations can get. And there's a lot of other people who are in the same situation. There's a lot of targets who are wondering, what the fuck is this gossip? Why am I in this social arena of gossip all the time when I basically go to work and come home? That's all I ever do. But they got this family that's gossiping about them and spreading this shit, and they think because these people are their family that these people know what they're talking about. Okay? It's like that whole authority thing. These people don't have any authority, and they don't know me, okay? The fact is, we live in completely different areas. Well, we do now. And I don't open up to my family, okay? A lot of it's speculation. And their speculation just went way out of control, okay? This whole bullshit, me being accused of this, that, and the other thing. And like I said, even if I was, which I wasn't, what business is it of these people's? You know what I mean? You cannot help but hate people, okay, after you've dealt with a situation like this. Like a constant influx of just injustices over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So you get sick of it. Anyway. Yeah, I think about certain people and their shit. You know what really makes me hate people even more? All I have to do is thumb down Facebook after a few minutes of just looking at Facebook. Because some of the shit that I see posted, not so much the people who are posting it, it's more that the issues that are going on into the world, the gossip shit that people think is important to talk about. There's this, everything that people do lately has just pissing me off, okay? So I'm trying really hard to deal with their inferior mentalities. And that's pretty much what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with inferiority. Don't think, oh, Maria's conceited. I'm not conceited, okay? We all know that when people behave in this manner, it's immature, it's unethical, it's illegal, it's everything under the sun. All the wrong things you could possibly be, they're wrong, okay? And so then you have to deal with the backlash of being right, and that pisses people off for being in the situation that you didn't ask to be in, all because they were doing something wrong in the first place. It's a continuous cycle of scapegoating. Is what it is. It's bullshit. Anyway, so I'm going to get ready for dinner soon. I usually don't have dinner. I just kind of switched up because I haven't been eating lunch. I'm just kind of weird. Like right now, everything is flipped around right now because I have to eat when I feel in the mood. I get angry. I'm always going up and down issues, and I'm pissed off right now. I really am. I'm pissed off, but I'm not as worried as I was before. Just after decades of this sort of shit going on in your life, okay, and you find out this sort of stuff, the shock is great, the pain is great, and you will never quite, and I know I'm being realistic, I believe in being realistic. I am never going to be okay with this. This is always going to affect me for the rest of my life. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of it. I'm not one of those people who's going to think that things are going to get better, or that I'm going to somehow pull out of this. This will affect me in the rest of my life because it has changed my view on people. Okay? I mean, I've always been leery of people, but now I know I have really lost a lot of my heart. Okay? Just complete, I'm kind of cold now these days, okay? I'm kind of a bitch these days when I have to be. I can deal with the politeness, but that has changed me, and it's understandable. Because if you go through something like this and you're still the sweet, loving, kind, generous, open person, then they're going to walk all over you all over again. So fuck you. Right there, plain and simple, before I even give you a chance. Like I said, you're fuck you in the back of my mind. I might be being polite, but fuck you. And until you prove to me that you're a decent person, that's just the way it has to be. Because like I said, everybody from these so-called professionals to these religious freaks that lie every fucking day of their lives and act like they're upstanding people, I have seen the true colors of people. So you can't expect me to be, that way. Unless, of course, you're one of my real friends or true friends or something. Someone I could feel like I can really open up to. But that's a very privileged position. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you have a wonderful evening. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.